Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's at-home Pilates routine. Today is going to be a moderate level workout. So I wouldn't recommend this for absolute beginners, but if you're a beginner and you're wanting to transition to something a little bit more challenging, but you're not quite ready to access some of my more intermediate videos, this will be perfect for you. Similarly, if you've had some time off from Pilates or from working out and you want to ease back into it, but you still want to get in a good total body workout, this is the workout for you. So we're not going to be using any equipment. We're going to start down in an all fours position and we're going to move into some exercises that are just going to gently warm up the spine and get us ready for exercise. So I'm going to begin in an all fours position, placing my wrists below my shoulders, knees below the hips. Your legs should be hip distance apart here, fingers should be spread, and we're nice and broad across the shoulders, spine is in neutral. From here, we're just going to arch the spine, roll the shoulders back, enjoying the stretch, and then we're going to push the mat away from us, scooping the belly in, rounding through the spine, stretching the vertebra apart. So we're going to inhale, drop the belly, arch the spine, roll the shoulders back, and then we're going to push the mat away, breathing out as we scoop abs in and round through the spine. So inhale, arch the spine, good, and exhale, push the mat away, rounding through the spine, stretching the vertebra apart. Let's take a couple more of those. Inhaling and exhaling, abs come in. Inhale, we arch. Exhale, draw your navel in. Nice work. Last one. And round through the spine, and then bring the spine into a neutral position. Nicely done. Now we're going to get a little bit of side body rotation in here. So we're going to look out over the right shoulder, cinching in the waistline, bringing the shoulder toward the right hip, the right shoulder toward the right hip. Back to center, inhale, and then exhale, look out over left shoulder, bringing the left shoulder toward the left hip. Back to center, inhale, and exhale. Back to center, inhale, and exhale. Alternating sides. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. Neck is nice and long, and the gaze stays on the floor. Good. We've got 3 and 2. Good. And last one. Back to center. We're going to walk our hands a little bit further out in front of the shoulders. Keep those fingers spread, curl the toes, deep inhale. And exhale, push the mat away as you lift the hips toward the ceiling, coming into downward dog. So I'd like you to take a moment here. You can have your knees as bent as they need to be to let your head hang between your shoulders, really flatten out the upper back, gazes on the shins. Really lift the tailbone up toward the ceiling, scooping the belly in. Now we're just going to start pedaling out the feet. So drawing the left heel down toward the mat, lifting it, and drawing the right heel down toward the mat. Stretching out the backs of the legs, lengthening through the spine. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Level out the heels. Lift the tailbone an inch higher if you can. Deep inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to come forward into a plank. So we're going to bring the wrists so that they're over the shoulders. The feet are flexed. We're lowering the bum to make sure that we're creating that nice flat line with the body. We're going to hold for 4, for 3, abs in for 2, and for 1. Lower your knees down to the mat. Bend at the elbows, keeping them close and toward the side of the body as you slowly ease the upper body down onto the floor. Nicely done. From here, the feet come flat on the floor. We want our legs about hip distance apart, and we're going to stretch out both arms. So really lengthen through the spine here. You want to keep your gaze down on the floor. We're going to relax the forehead down to the mat. Inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift the chest, keeping the gaze up down on the mat and bringing the elbows in, drawing the upper back muscles together. Lower, inhale, and exhale, lift. Nice work. Lower, stretch the arms, and exhale, lift the chest, keeping the spine nice and long. Lower, and pull back, drawing those elbows together. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift the chest. Keep those eyes down on the floor. Good. Inhale and exhale, drawing your upper back muscles together, moving slowly and with control, firing up those upper back muscles, lengthening through the spine. We've got 4 and 3. Lift the chest. For 2. And final 1. Pull it back. Draw your palms down to the mat. Lift yourself up. Take your knees wide. Bring your big toes together and push back into child's pose. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nicely done. Now we're going to come back into our all fours position. We want to be further up along the mat so we have space in a few moments to stretch out the legs. But for now, we're going to walk our hands a little bit further in front of the shoulders. We still want our wrists to be in line with the shoulders here. Fingers are spread, spine is nice and long, and the gaze is coming down in between the thumbs. We're going to lower our forearms down to the mat and then push up through the heels of the hands, coming into some forearm taps here to work the backs of the arms. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. So plug your belly in. Try not to let your back arch here. Keep your spine nice and neutral. Keep your spine long. And keep those forearms parallel. Lower the forearms and then push up through the heels of the hands. Focus your mind and your attention on the backs of the arms doing the work as you lift up, as well as you lower down with control. Good. We've got 5. 4. Breathe out to lift. 3. Nice long neck. Don't let your shoulders hunch up by your ears. 2. And 1. Amazing work. Now we're going to walk the heels of our hands under the shoulders, keeping those fingers spread. We're going to extend the right arm out long on the mat. So just bringing the right arm a little bit further in front, the right palm. We're going to lift that arm and lower. Now as you lift and lower, I want you to avoid letting that right shoulder lift. So you want to keep it level with the left shoulder. It's a very small range of movement, but we're really focusing on scapula balance and stability here. So lifting and lowering that arm without letting that right side lift up, that right shoulder lift higher than the left. Good. Belly is plugged in, gaze is on the floor, neck is long. Good. For 3 and 2 and 1. Lower the palm. Now we're going to extend the left leg out long. And just like we did with the shoulders, we want to keep the hips perfectly level as we lift the leg up to torso height and then tap the toe down to the mat. The right palm is still pressing down onto the floor. We're lifting and lowering. Plug your belly in. I want you to really focus on creating as much stability in your trunk as possible and not letting that left hip open up. You want both hips level and square with the mat. Good. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now we're going to alternate arm and leg. Lift the right arm and lower. Lift the left leg and lower. Lift, lower, lift, and lower. Good. So alternating arm and leg lifting, but really focusing on the stability across those shoulders and that level across the hips. Balance. So you're not letting your torso sort of twist or move around. If you need to move more slowly in order to get that control, just do so. And keep the belly plugged in toward the spine. It'll help with that stability. Good. Keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth in a very controlled way. For 2 and 1. Now, for a bit of a balance challenge to finish off on this side, we're going to raise the right arm, raise the left leg to torso height, balance those shoulders, balance those hips, reach to opposite ends of the room with the fingertips and the toes, and hold abs in for 3, for 2, and for 1. Amazing. Bring your big toes together. Send the hips back toward the heels, stretching and lengthening through the spine. Amazing stability, amazing control, good work. Stretching and lengthening. And then you can bring yourself up, and we're gonna do the opposite side. So, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips, spine is in neutral, so it's not overarching here. There's a gentle tuck to the tailbone. We're gonna extend that left arm. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. So keeping that gaze down on the mat ensures that your neck is in line with the spine. Don't let the head drop. Good. And now we're focusing on that scapula stability. So we're nice and balanced across those shoulders. The torso isn't moving. Good. Gentle bend in the supporting arm. We've got 4, 3, really squeeze your shoulders at the top of the lift. 2, and 1, place your hand down. Now we're going to extend the right leg out long, point through the toe, lift and lower, lift and lower. And you can squeeze your bum a little at the top of the lift. You don't need to lift any higher than torso height. Again, we're not letting that right side open. We're not letting it lift higher than the left side. We're really focusing on stability. Nice work. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're alternating between the arm and the leg. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Good. I want you to really challenge yourself by making sure that you're not twisting or moving around in that torso. So move as slowly as you need to, and don't forget to engage those abs for extra added stability. So we're not thinking about how high we can get. Torso height is high enough. Just focus on those level shoulders and those level hips, engaged abs, and lengthening through the toes, lengthening through those fingertips. Stability, stability, stability. Good. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower, make sure you're nice and stable, and then extend, finding that balance. Lengthening through the toes and the fingertips for 4, 3, abs in, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Amazing. Now we're going to come down onto our forearms. So we're going to give those wrists a little bit of a rest. We're going to place the forearms down to the mat. We want the forearms parallel, fingers are spread. Now, sometimes in this position, we have a tendency to let the shoulders hunch up by the ears, roll them back, nice neutral spine. From here, we're going to extend the right leg out long behind, and we're going to lift the leg to about torso height. We want to make sure that we are not overarching in the spine here. From this position, we're going to flex the foot, bringing the toes back toward the shin, and then point. Flex and point. A very small range of movement, but I really want you to flex hard through that heel and point hard through the toe, getting as much length as possible, switching on those hamstrings and thighs, engaging the glutes. Good. Flexing and pointing really purposefully. Keeping those shoulders relaxed and down away from the ears. Abs are engaged, lifted toward the ceiling. So although it's a small range of movement, we really want to focus on, again, keeping those hips square with the mat and that leg as lengthened as possible throughout the range of movement. We've got 3, nice, 2, and 1. Flex the foot if it isn't already. We're going to tap the toes down toward the mat and then lift to torso height, squeezing the glute without overarching the spine. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Good. We've got 7, 6, abs in, squeeze at the top of the lift. 5, 4, 3, nice long spine, 2, and 1. Hold at the top of the lift. Now we're bringing heel toward the bum, hamstring curl, straighten. Keep that foot flexed. Good. Nice work. 8, 7, relax those shoulders, abs in. 6, 5, nice and controlled, really contracting those hamstrings. 3, and 2, and 1. Amazing. Now straighten out that top leg and lower onto your bottom hip. We're gonna keep that lower leg bent, and we're just gonna prop our heads up on the palm. Or you can be outstretched on your arm if that's more comfortable for your neck. Now that same right leg is working here. We're gonna lift and lower. Lift and lower. Again, really focusing on stability through the torso. If you can't lift up quite as high, that's fine. I want you to focus on that side booty area, those gluteus medius muscles. Keep it up. Last exercise on this side, so make it count. Squeeze the glutes at the top of the lift. Good. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Hold, lift an inch higher for 2, 1, and lower. Amazing. Now we're gonna lift ourselves up, bringing that bent leg in toward the thigh, and we're just gonna stretch over to the side, lengthening through the leg that we just worked, stretching the side body, and then lift it up. Amazing. Now we're gonna do the opposite side. So we're coming down onto those forearms, setting ourselves up with good form to begin with. So elbows beneath the shoulders, fingers are spread, arms are parallel. We're extending the opposite leg out long. For me, it's my left leg now. Flexing and pointing. Flexing and pointing. Make it really precise and exaggerated. So you're really exaggerating that flex, pulling the toes back toward the shins as much as possible, and then lengthening out through those toes as much as possible on the point. Inhaling and exhaling. We've got a nice long neck. Our gaze is on the floor, and those shoulders are rolled down away from the ears. We're not letting them creep up as the tension builds. Good. Nicely done. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep that leg elevated. 1, and we're finishing on a flex before we go into those tap and lifts. So keep that low back nice and long and in neutral, elongated. We do not want to be arching the low back as we lift the leg. So we're keeping it slow, we're keeping it controlled, and we're focusing on squeezing the glutes at the top of the lift. Remember that heel is flexed, the leg is long, the hips are square with the floor. For 5, 4, 3, 2, abs in, last 1, 10 hamstring curls, heel to bum, 9, 8, keep that foot flexed, 6, relaxed shoulders, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch the leg out, and now we're going to bring that top leg around, keeping that lower leg bent and relaxing down onto the side body to finish off with those leg lifts. Good. Make yourself nice and comfortable. Stack those hips. Abs are in. Hand is on the mat for support. Lifting and lowering. Tap and lift. Focusing on that side booty. Lengthening out through the pointed toe. Nice work. We've got 7, 6, 5, 4. You've got this, nearly there. 3, 2, and 1. Hold, lift the leg an inch higher. Hold, hold, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Whew, great work. Okay, now we're going to roll over onto our backs, and we're gonna stretch out the glutes before we move into our ab work. So I'm gonna start by crossing my right leg over my left. I'm gonna interlace my fingers, take them behind the left thigh, between the thighs, and just draw that knee, that left knee in toward the chest, which is opening up the hip on the right side and stretching those right glutes. Hold here. If you can, hug the knee a little bit closer in towards you as you hold for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Now bring both feet down, switch the crossing of your legs, left over right, interlace your hands behind your right thigh and hug that right knee in toward the chest. Getting a well-deserved stretch deep into those left glutes and opening in the hips. Hug it in a little bit closer if you can for the last few seconds. For 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Great work. Okay, now we're going to plant both feet down onto the floor. We're going to interlace the hands and take them behind the head. Now we want our head to rest heavy in our hands here, heavy like a bowling ball. So we're never pulling our head up. We're only supporting our head when we go into these next crunches. Our feet are mat distance apart, spine is in neutral. That means your low back is lifted a little bit off the mat, but we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to press the low back into the mat and lift the chest toward the ceiling, gently tucking the chin toward the chest without letting the chin touch the chest. So we're lifting as we exhale and lowering. Lift on the exhale, inhale to lower. So as you lift, don't worry about how high you come up. Really focus on contracting your belly button down toward your spine. Keep those elbows nice and wide. Peel those shoulder blades up off the mat. Good. And just hold that crunch for a split second at the top, really focusing on belly to spine. Nice work. Warming up the abdominal wall. Moving slowly and with control and focusing on that abdominal engagement. Good. We've got 4, 3 abs in, 2, press that low back into the mat, and 1, amazing work. Now we're going to add some leg movement to these crunches. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, forehead in toward the knee as we lift the foot off the mat, and then opposite leg comes in, and we lower. So we're bringing the knee in toward the chest, bringing the forehead toward the knee, keeping those elbows nice and wide as we deepen the intensity on those crunches. Good. Nice work. Gently putting the foot back down on the floor between each rep. Good. And again, we're really focusing on pressing that low back into the mat as we lift up for that crunch. We've got 4, 3, lift a bit higher, for 2, abs in as we breathe out, and last 1, amazing. Now, we're going to extend the right leg out long and keep the right hand behind the head so that the palm is just cradling the head. The left arm is pressing down onto the floor for control. Again, our spine starts off in neutral. We've got that little bit of space between our low back and the mat. We're squeezing the muscles in the right leg so that we add to the stability as we come up, and bring right elbow toward left knee. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. So we're bringing the elbow toward the knee as we tap the toe down to the mat. We're crossing over the body, getting into those obliques. Now make sure that your hips are stable. Both hips are evenly weighted on the mat. And we're just twisting around the rib cage. So that's where that rotation is happening. We're not pulling the head up. Nice. I'm squeezing that right thigh for extra added stability. Crunching up toward that knee. My elbow and knee are touching, but don't worry if yours don't touch. Just make sure you're getting a good rotation. So you're bringing the bottom of that right rib cage toward the left hip as you cross over. We've got 2 and 1. Relax it down. Now we're going to switch sides. Right knee bends, left leg extends. I'm squeezing all the muscles in my left leg for extra stability, pressing the right arm down toward the mat. We're going to inhale to prepare and exhale, cross over. Tap the toe down to the mat, lower the chest, and then come back again. Good. Trying not to let that left hip lift up off the mat. We're focusing on those obliques now. Good. Shortening the distance between the bottom of the rib cage on this opposite side now and the hip bone. Good. We've got 3 and 2 and final 1 and relax it down. You can stretch both your legs out long. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nicely done. We're going to roll over onto our stomachs for a quick stretch before we finish off with our final exercise. I'd like you to put your forearms down onto the mat, roll your shoulders back and lift for an abdominal stretch. If you have the flexibility to do so, you can come up onto your palms and just get a nice ab stretch before we relax back down. Roll back onto the back. Nice work. Now from here, both knees are bent. I'm going to draw my right knee in toward my chest, take my right hand around my shin. Left hand comes just under the right knee. Opposite leg is going to extend out on a 45-degree angle. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to pull the right knee gently in toward the chest, flattening the abdominal wall. Then we're going to inhale to switch, and exhale. Left knee comes in toward the chest as we breathe out. Alternating sides, single leg stretch. Hug that knee in and extend opposite leg out long. Really pointing hard through the toe of the extended leg as we draw belly in toward the spine. Good. Now, if you want more of a challenge, you can pick up the pace slightly as long as you're moving with good form. Or for even more of a challenge, you can lift your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat so that your head is resting on top of your shoulders and you're in a crunch position as you move through. Now, if your neck is straining or if you're losing the ability to engage your abs, like your low back is lifting off the mat, for example, I want you to place your head back down on the floor and focus on contracting belly to spine as you bring those knees in. Abs in. Belly to spine. Nice. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend both legs out long and lower them down to the mat. Final challenge. We're going to come into a plank position on our forearms. So forearms come down onto the mat. We can start off with our knees bent. Make sure that your forearms are parallel and your elbows are directly below your shoulders. Nice long neck. We're going to step the right foot back, flexing through the heel. Step the left foot back, flexing through the heel. Hold in a low plank. Now you can either hold in a static plank here, or you can rock forward an inch and back an inch, keeping that nice flat line with the body. Good. Abs are in. Inhaling and exhaling. We've got 7, 6. Final challenge. You can do it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Come forward. Come back. Lower your knees. Take them nice and wide. Bring the big toes together. Keep your hips elevated and walk your hands out in front, coming into puppy pose, a variation of child's pose. Really stretch and elongate through the spine. Draw your armpits down toward the mat for 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly walk up to a kneeling position so that you're facing me. Amazing work. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to lift our shoulders up by our ears to finish off. Inhale and exhale to roll them down and back. Let's take 2 more because those feel really good. Lift and round the shoulders down and back. Last one. And we are done. Thank you so much for joining me for today's workout, and I look forward to moving again with you next time.